One question that I get over and over again is, well, from people from YouTube and on my website, is how do I get ideas to make my manipulations? How do I get the stock images? And well, how the process that I follow to make my manipulations. And in this video, what I want to show you is, well, that's the process that I follow. So I'll show you a practical example. I'll show you how I made this simple manipulation. And I will also show you how, well, I will create another one from scratch just to show you what you can do and a simple way of starting to make your manipulation. So if you want to become a photo manipulator, I'll show you some tricks that you can use or something to help you to get you started. So I hope you will like this tutorial. So let's get started. Okay, so as I said, I will show you how I made this simple manipulation, and you can see there's only a few layers in this layers palette, and then I'll show you the process that you can follow to make your manipulations. I'll show you the website where I get stock images, and well, what I do to start working on a manipulation. This is the final result of a really simple manipulation, something for a beginner, and I want to show you how you can how I created this. I will go a bit quick here because I will make another one, so I don't want to make the video too long. But usually what I do is start with the background, and this is something that I said on another tutorial, well, actually in many tutorials that I made, and that makes sense to me because what I do is usually start with the background, as I said. For instance, I will use this one for this tutorial because I'll want to remake that image. Let me use the mouse. Okay, so this is the stock image that I used. You can see, I'll tell you why I use this kind of images. This is a pre-made stock, and this will make things a lot easier for you if you're a beginner. And I use the background, and I start with the background usually. When I make my own manipulations, I usually make the background myself. This is a ready background. This was already made by someone else. I'll give you the link to it. And once I have the background, what I do is add the rest of the objects, people, models, and everything else, and then I make the adjustments. That's the basic concept that I follow. So once I have the background, what I do is add the main objects and the main elements. In this case was this photo. This is another photo from DeviantArt. I'll talk about DeviantArt a bit later. It's the main website where I get most of my stock images. And what I do is open this image in Photoshop and extract it from the background. So I delete the background and I have this image left, which is what I want for my manipulation. I have other tutorials where I explain techniques to get to this result, so to delete the background. I also have a tutorial about how to create a path. Well, one of the techniques is to use the pencil to create a path around the object, in this case this woman, and then instead of saving this as I have it here as a PNG file, so instead of doing that, because you'll end up having a duplicate on your computer, instead of doing that you can save that path onto this JPEG, and when you open that in Photoshop, you will only have to press a button and you will load the selection. That's a really cool tutorial. If you want to see it, it's already on my YouTube channel and on my website. I'll also post the link on this video, so you can go and watch that video if you want to. So once I subtract the main element, in this case this model here, I always do that. Let's open this, copy it, close it, and paste it here. So I always do the same things. I start with the background and then add the main elements and then add the details. So I have my model here. For this particular image, the size is correct. I don't want to make it smaller or anything like that. Let's rename our layers here. So now I have both elements here, and once you have the main composition, as I said, this is something really easy because you should start with this. You don't have to make anything too complicated. Just start with simple manipulations just to just so you get used to the controls, so that you get used to the adjustments and everything like that. It doesn't have to be anything too complicated. You can see it's really simple. So once we have that, we can start add more details. For this particular image, I found this staff, which was cool. So I thought I could make, I will open this on a new document, copy the entire canvas with Control A, Control C to copy, and Control W. You can see I use keyboard shortcuts a lot, and I'm going a bit fast here, as I said, because I will make another manipulation in this same video. So I wanted to add this staff here, and of course I have to, let's first rename this so you can see it better. So I have this on top of the woman's, on the woman layer, so I want to drag it under it because I just want to see it on this part here. And now I can place it, let's make it more or less the same size as the woman. And you can see that looks like she's holding it with her hand. That's why I thought I could place this here without making it look weird. So it looks like she's holding her dress and at the same time holding that staff there. So, well, that's the detail that I added here. And once you have your main elements on the image, on the canvas, what you need to do is, well, what I do, you can do whatever you want, it's just an advice that I give you, is to start adding well, shadows and light effects, and then or maybe make the adjustments, color and contrast adjustments. The order is not really important, but in this case I will start making the shadows, and I make the shadows on separate layers. You can make as many layers as you want for the shadows. For example, if you have like here the model, you can create a new layer and name it model shadow. And in many of my manipulation tutorials, I mentioned that shadows are really important because they really give realism and depth to your works. So you should really pay attention on the shadows. In my opinion, they are even more important than light effects or color matching and stuff like that. Shadows are really important, at least that's what I think. So in this case, I only have this woman here, so I created this shadow below the model layer. And I have a tutorial about making shadows. I think it's a bit old, I don't know, I'll probably make another one a bit more detailed. So what I do is use a brush with a softness, with hardness of about 25%, and then adjust the size to the object that I'm painting the shadow for. And then for the brush, I set the opacity to about 40 and the flow as well. This is just the starting numbers, and then just paint. You can see that I'm painting with the lower part of the brush. So most of the brush is on the inside, below, let's say, the woman's dress, and just the lower part is sticking out from there. So I'm painting with that soft brush and making multiple passes to build up the intensity of the shadow. So you can see it's not really visible, but you will see after I deactivate it, you will see the effect, and you will see that it really gives more realism. And this is just a contact shadow. This is what I call contact shadow. I don't know the technical name of it, but it's just a shadow that is where the object is closest to the ground. Let me get the pen, because those clicks are annoying. Okay, so I'm making multiple passages with the bottom part of the brush. As I said, I'll probably make a shadows tutorial. You can search on my channel. I already have some tutorials, I think. Just go to my channel and there's a search box. Let me show you. If you go to my channel, this is the design that YouTube has now. I guess they will change it because it changes all the time. You should find this magnifying glass here. Click there and you can search for shadows or whatever tutorial you want to search for. So before you ask something, just search, make a quick search here and try to find it for yourself. Let's go back to Photoshop. So this is what I do to make the shadows. This is what I said, the contact shadow. Let's reduce the zoom a bit. Always watch your image from different zoom levels, because you will see things differently. And after I'm done with that contact shadow, what I do is make a soft shadow. So what I do is change the hardness of the brush to 0, make the brush a bit bigger, sorry, and just create, if you're not confident, you can create a new layer. If you don't want to mess with this one, because if you make some mistakes and you cannot undo because you run out of history states, you can create a new layer, and let's name it model soft shadows. Okay, so with this new layer we can safely paint here, and if we make some mistakes we can delete it. And what I do is decrease the opacity even more to about 25 or 20 or whatever you're comfortable with. It's good to work with low opacities. It's something I say over and over again, because you can build up the intensity of the effect. It's easier because you don't make as many mistakes, because you can control the amount of effect. So this is how I make this soft shadows. I paint this time with the brush, with the middle part of the brush, or with the whole brush, just like that. Make a few passes around the object. One thing I didn't mention is that you need to know where your main source of light is. In this case, I guess it would be this sunset here, because the moon, well, it's up here, but for me, this is brighter than the moon, so I guess the main source light will be here, and we'll add a flare there. And you have to be consistent with the direction of the shadows, but in this case, we'll make soft shadows, so we don't make directional shadows. We don't have to cast a shadow on this part. So if you're a beginner, don't worry too much about the direction of the shadows, unless you have some objects here where you clearly see the shadows going on that direction. Then you should paint the same shadows on the same direction, because otherwise it will look weird. But for most cases, just paint as soft shadows, and that will be enough until you start to see more or less how the light behaves. So this is what I will do here. You can see there's a soft shadow. Maybe it's too big. I'm messing around with the zoom here. Maybe it's too big, this soft shadows, we'll see. And what I will do is group these two layers, because I want to show you the before and after. Okay, so this is the shadows group. I grouped the layer by selecting them and pressing Ctrl or Command G. So this is the before and after. It still looks weird, and that's because we have this dark part, but the dress is still, it's too bright. So what we need to do is make another kind of shadow, which is on top of the dress. So create a new layer, and if I don't want to mess with I don't want to be careful on the edges, so what I will do is clip it to the model. Let's name this model shadow. Oh no, let's call it dress shadow. You need to know the basics, like clipping masks and stuff like that. I already have tutorials about that on I have a series called Photoshop for Beginners, and there I have tutorials about this basic things, like how to work with layers, layer masks, and things like that. So if you don't know why I created this clipping mask, you can watch that tutorial. But basically it's because I don't want to, everything that I paint will only be visible here. That's why I created this clipping mask. So I will use the same brush settings, and what I will do is make it a bit bigger, this brush, and just paint with black on the bottom part, because as soon as we get to the ground, if we assume that the light comes from here, this is the opposite, so it's facing away from the light. So that's why we have to make it a bit darker, and especially here. So see how I'm building up the effect with this low opacity brush. You can see I'm at 28 and 21% flow and opacity. And I'm just painting some shadows right here. Now, this depends also on the colors of your dress or object that you're painting over. In this case, this is mid-tones to dark tones, so if you're painting over a white dress, it will probably not look good at all. So whenever you're painting shadows over objects that are really bright, they will not look too nice. So keep that in mind. And you can also try blend modes. if you paint with black and choose multiply, it will have no effects. But if you have, if you use soft light, you will usually increase the contrast. You can also try, well, let's see, maybe vivid light, but yeah, this one looks nice. I think it has the same effect as normal, though. Yeah. Anyway, let's leave it at normal. Just painted those shadows there. And you can see now it looks a bit better. See that? It creates a bit more. Well, the woman is a bit too bright, the skin and everything, but we can use, we can create levels. So that's what you need to do here. First I made the shadows, and now I start making adjustments to the woman only because I want to make her blend a bit better with the background here. So I will also clip this to the model because I don't want to affect the background. And what I can do is, if the highlights are really, really bright, you can use this bottom control, okay, to change the white point, because if you choose this one, you will make it even brighter. So just change the white point a bit, and maybe make the midtones a bit darker. And now these shadows are too strong, so what I will do is decrease the opacity of this dress shadow, okay, like that. Okay, so we have it there. And one other thing that I did on the original is I changed the dress with a hue saturation adjustment layer. Let me show you. See that? I made it purple. But well, I will not do that on this for this demonstration here. You'll have the PSD file. I'll give this PSD file for free, so you can download it from my website, so you can take a look at all the layers and how I made this manipulation. But for this demonstration, I will not change the dress color. And the next thing that I did is add some light effects. They always look nice if you place them correctly. I used my well, actually I have the stock folder here, so if you download the PSD file, you'll also download these stock images, so you can use the same images. So I'll open this optical flare. This is not made by me. I'll give you the link to it. It actually has the credits on the image itself, but let's wait for it to open. My hard drive is a little slow. I need a solid state drive. They are a lot faster than this one. Oh, I had this window open. Let's do it again. That's why it was not opening. Open with Photoshop. Well, it's not that slow. Anyways, so well, as I said, this is not made by me. It was made by freeelements.com, I think is the website. I'll check it and I'll give you the link to this image. They have some really cool flares. I think this was a pack actually, and I think these images were made with After Effects. I'm not sure, but as I said, I'll give the link to that website, so you can download those flares because they are really cool. So what I will do with that one, I will place it above the background, below the woman and everything else. So just select the background layer and press Ctrl Command V to paste it and move it right. Let's flip it because I want this end to be off the canvas there on the left side. So right click and choose flip horizontal. By the way, I select this with Ctrl T. If you press Ctrl T, you will load this free transform tool, and if you right click, you will have a lot of options here. So I chose flip horizontal, and now we have this image here, but we only want the light effect. And in other tutorials, I said that we have this black background or really dark background. We can get rid of it if we change the blend mode to screen. So a bit of knowledge about how the basic blend modes work will help you to get the effects that you want. In this case, with the screen blend mode, we got rid of we eliminated this background. Well, we did not eliminate it, but it's gone. It's invisible almost, because you can see the edges right there, and we still have those credits text there. So what we need to do in order to get rid of the background completely is, with this layer selected, which I'll name sun, let's assume this is the sun, I select this layer, press Ctrl Command L to load the levels, and you can see that this histogram indicates that most of the image is just shadows. That's why all this graphic is on the left side. So we want to make this even darker, and you will see that this edge here will go away just as I move this. See that? It goes away. That's what I want. I want to blend that edge there. You don't have to use you don't need to use the eraser tool to get rid of that edge. Well, we will need to use it because we need to delete this part here. So get the eraser tool and increase the opacity and the flow of the eraser, and just get rid of that credits there. Anyways, you'll have to credit the author of the resources that you're using. So in this case, this was a free pack, so why not credit the author, because, well, spend time doing this. Okay, so let's change a bit the color of this flare with Control Command U to load the hue saturation. Notice that in this case I'm not using an adjustment layer, because the change that I applied to this, I want it to be permanent, so I don't want to overcrowd my layers palette here. So I'll play with the hue until I get something that I like. I like this tone, so at plus 30 you get this effect. So I just made it a bit more purple, and maybe even 40 or something like that, and click OK. So we changed a bit the look of that flare. Okay, now what I did next is I added another lens flare here on the staff itself. Let's assume this is a magical staff or something like that. So I added another lens flare effect. I don't think I used this one, but I'll use this lens flare. I think this was made by me, but well, you can download the pack that I have on my website. On my website I have a lot of lens flare effects, so you can download them. Let's not save that, and we have to locate the staff because we have to put this image above the staff. Okay, so paste it there, and again we change the blend mode to screen because we have that black background, so we want it to go away, and put it there. But of course it's too big, so what you need to do is press Control Command T with this layer selected. Let's name it Staff Light. So with this new layer selected, press Control Command T, and you can see this box loads, which indicates that you loaded the free transform tool. And right click, well, actually let's make it smaller first, and go here on the top. You can see this fields here are now active. Click this to lock the aspect ratio, and change this 100 to, let's say, about 50%, half the size, or maybe smaller, 30%, so 30% of the original. And that, if you click this, you will automatically adjust the height to keep that aspect ratio. Otherwise you will distort it and it will not look too nice. And another thing we need to do is here play with those levels again to get rid of this small edge here. See that there? Now it looks a lot better because we only have this light effect. And if you don't like the color of this, you can change it, or you can add your own. We have this to screen, so you can paint with a soft brush another color to make a glow of light, but that's a bit more advanced. So if you're not used to work with blend modes, it's better to leave it like it is. Okay, so we have everything ready. All we need to do now is add some general adjustments, because now everything seems to look nice, but we need to have a more uniform color, or at least that's what I like. So what I do is, when I finish with everything, just go here on the bottom of the layers palette, and if you click this icon, you will see a list of adjustment layers. And the adjustments that I use more often is the gradient map. And I already have a tutorial about gradient maps, how they work. It's really easy to understand. What it does is it remaps the colors of the image. Post a link on this video, so you can go to that tutorial and watch it if you want to. And let's choose this adjustment, because this purple color is the same as the colors that we have here, so has more or less the same tones. And for the highlights, we have this orange color. And here is where you have a lot of options to choose the blend mode. For this tutorial, I chose the screen blend mode, which usually makes the whole image a bit brighter, but I changed the opacity, let's say, to about 50 or 33%. On the original I used other numbers, I don't remember, but the exact numbers don't really matter as long as it looks nice to you. And then let's choose another gradient map, but choose another color. And I chose this one. This has 3 colors, so we have a color for the shadows, for the midtones, and for the highlights. That's why the highlights are yellow, the midtones are red, you can see there, and everything that is black or close to the shadows has this blue color. So let's click OK and change the blend mode. Let's see. I use darken for this. I have the values. I wrote down the most important values here, so not multiply, darken. And I changed the opacity to something really low, about 15 or 16%. And you can see it makes the whole image a bit darker, but the highlights have this yellow tone, this orange yellow tone. Okay, so that's how I created this simple manipulation. You have the result is a bit different on the original because here it has more contrast, it has some more light effects here on the dress, and this first gradient map is not as strong, and here we have a bit more contrast. You can download that this PSD file and take a look at the layers palette and try to understand what I did here. But it's pretty much the same process. Also, if you plan to save this on your website, if you want to make it smaller, don't forget to sharpen the image. So for example, let's say I want to post it on my website. Usually what I do is select the top layer, press Ctrl Command A to select the entire canvas, go to Edit and choose Copy Merged, and then I press Ctrl Command N to create a new layer and click OK, and press Ctrl Command V to paste that image here. And let's say I want to paste it on my website, but I don't want to have it as big as that, so I want to crop the bottom part because it's not too important to me, like that. But the image is still too big. If you press Alt or Command or Option and Command I, you'll open the image size. And let's assume I want it at 800 pixels wide. Okay, so this is the size of the image that I want to post on my website. It's smaller, but if you sharpen it, you'll get a bit more quality and it will look a lot better. So you can go to Filter, Sharpen, and choose Unsharp Mask. And let's use about 0.4. 0.4 is not working, I don't know why. 0.4 for the radius, and an amount of about 100 is okay. And you'll see the before and after. You can see especially the stars, they're a lot more visible, so everything looks sharper and a lot better. And well, it looks better. Okay, so let me show you how you can create something from scratch. So let's close this. If you this is where this tutorial ends. I'll now make something new from scratch. So I'll close this and go to the internet. So if you are new to photo manipulation and if you find it hard to find ideas and stock images, one thing that you can do to make this process a bit easier is to use pre-made stock images, and you can use DeviantArt for that. The website is deviantart.com. Many of you already know it, I guess, and you should have an account here. It's free and you'll find a lot of inspiration and resources for your designs. And here on the left you have this list of categories where you'll find all sorts of artworks, and one of them is resources and stock images. And if you click here, all these things that will appear here on this list are just stock images and other resources like tutorials and brushes and things like that. And there's not only they're not only for Photoshop. You can also find resources for other programs like I don't know, like GIMP, for example, and well, other tutorials and stuff like that. And here on this resources stock images, you can see there's another sub list here, and if you go to stock images, you'll find only stock images, so no tutorials, just stock images. And on the bottom here you'll find this pre-made backgrounds, and this will make your work a lot easier because as I said, if you're new to Photoshop and you want to learn composition and how to blend images, it's a good start if you don't want to spend time making the background, or if you find it hard to make this background. So you can use this pre-made stock images, but one advice that I would give you is to not get used to this too much, because you'll have to learn in time how to make this background yourself. I know it takes time, and sometimes it's not easy to make a background that you like or that you want, but in time it's better for you to just try making them yourself. So in other words, don't be lazy and just do something yourself. For example, this one is a cool background. I think this one is actually inspired by one of my tutorials. It's identical. So wow, you can create something like this. For fantasy manipulations, you can see backgrounds like this one. And as I said, you don't have to make a really complicated manipulation when you're starting. Just make simple things like the background and maybe a model or some details on the background. So let's try and find something. I liked this one. Okay, so I liked this stock image, and let's download this one. And as I said, I always start with the background, and for this you can see it has these yellow tones, and the main color that the background has is what this will be the main color of my artwork. You can change it if you want, but if the background is like this, well, you can use the same original tones of the image and then adapt the color of the model or other elements that you will add to this background. So that's why I said it will make things a bit easier. So I will just right click and choose copy image. You can see that the blending here was not, you can still see those trees around there, but well, anyways, we can use this. So I just copied the image, and I'll go back to Photoshop, press Ctrl Command N, and you can see the width and the height is of the image that I just copied, and press Ctrl Command V to paste the image. So this is my pre-made background. And what you need next, another thing that will make things easier for you and save you a bit of time, is to search for PNG files, so cutout images. Let's go back, as I'm already on the stock images. So resources and stock, I'll go up one level, and from here you can start. For example, this one is a really good model. You could use it, I don't know, for example, on top of a building or something, and just make some adjustments. This is another nice model that you can use. This one is not a cutout, but as I said, you can search for cutouts. So just let's go back to resources and stock, and for example, you can search for model PNG or something like that, and you'll find a lot of images. See that? Stock images that are already cut from the background, so you don't have to spend time doing it. Although I recommend you use the pen tool, because you'll get practice, and it's good to do it yourself. But as I said, if you're a beginner, you can try this. I already downloaded one stock image, but usually one thing that you can do, because you also you will learn to search for stock images in time if you do it. For example, if you click on one image, let's try this one. This is a PNG file. On DeviantArt, you'll see this list here on the right will have related images and stuff like that. And you also have more like this, browse more like this, okay? And you will also find on the bottom here featured in groups. And sometimes you'll find a group called, for example, one that I know is clear cuts or something like that. These are groups made by other users where all the images that you'll find on those groups are somehow related. For example, I can find that group here. For example, on the clear cut group, you'll only find images that are cut from the background, so you don't have to spend time doing that. As I see, it's not here either, but well, anyways, you'll find it. If you're here in DeviantArt, you'll find that group. So I already downloaded a model, a PNG model. I'll give you the link to it. It's this one. I used it on another tutorial for another website a few years ago, and you can see you don't have to spend time doing it, and the hair is already painted, so it's a really nice stock image. But as I said, I encourage you to spend time in Photoshop and make the cuts yourself and create the backgrounds yourself, but just to spend time. Okay, so I'm making something really simple. Just add this model right here, reduce a bit the size, and place it right there. Let's name this model, and let's name this background. Okay, and of course what we need to do now is blend this woman with the background, with the tones and the contrast, more or less. And this is your job, so to say. Okay, so you're using this pre-made stock images which made the composition a lot quicker, and all you need to focus now is on making the adjustments and make her blend with the background. And this is something that you will learn with practice, and you have to know how to work with adjustment layers and things like that. So for this particular image, I will use let's use levels adjustment, and I'll have to clip this to the model layer because I only want to affect this one. The background is ready. I don't want to do anything to it for now. I just want to adapt the contrast of the woman. So I want to increase a bit the midtones and darken the highlights just a bit, not too much, and just to reduce the contrast a bit. And then you can also use, for example, photo filter. It's an easy adjustment, also clipped to the model layer. Okay, so just to give it that yellow tint, and let's see if we can sample a color. Well, I'll do it by eye. A color that is similar to the overall color of our background. And let's see if we can change the blend mode to color maybe, or hue. See what that gives us. It's the same result. Not too much of a change. Okay, something like that. And okay, maybe desaturate the image just a bit. So use a hue saturation on top of everything, also clipped. And just decrease the saturation, not too much, about -20. I don't want to check colorize. The face looks a bit weird, but you can use these layer masks to reduce the effect here, and just paint with black just to keep the original color of the face. Okay, use a soft brush and just remove the effect from there, and just keep the color of the face because it was looking a bit weird. Okay, and we have these two elements here. Let's add maybe some shadows for the model. So I created this new layer below the model, and let's paint some shadows. So I'll switch the foreground color to black, reduce my opacity to about 40 or 45, and the flow as well. And I'll zoom in as much as I can. Reduce the brush size and keep the hardness to about 25%. And adjust the brush size. And now just paint those contact shadows right there with the tip of the brush, with the bottom of that circle there of the brush. So notice that I'm keeping that low opacity and flow just to build up the effect. In this case, we see some grass there. You can mask this and just leave the dress here, but as I said, I'll keep it simple because I just want to show you a technique to create simple manipulations, but manipulations that look nice. Maybe if I have time, if the video is not too long, I'll show you some example of not so good manipulations. Okay, so make this shadows here like that. Okay, so we have the shadows, a bit more here, and now what I'll do is decrease the hardness and increase the brush size a bit, and also decrease the opacity and the flow. So it's the same process that I follow on the other image. And now just build up the effect around the woman here, keeping in mind that the closer I am to the woman, to the dress there, the harder the shadow, and that's why I want to build up the effect manually. And you can do it with the mouse. I'm doing it right now with a tablet, but I worked with the mouse for years, and you can do it, so don't worry too much. And you can see this is where the light comes in. You can see her face is lighted, so she is looking into the sun somewhere. We don't have that light source here. The main light source maybe would be there because that's the lighter part, but you can create an artificial light there, or maybe shift the light. I'll show you how. But you don't have to worry too much about that for now. Just create that shadow right there. Okay, so I want to have a bit more of a stronger shadow right here. And in this case, if you want to create another shadow on the dress itself, you should not paint the shadow right here, because this is the part of the body that is facing the light. So if we assume that the light comes from here, we should be darkening this part, but in this case it's not really necessary, so I will not do it. I just want to have these shadows here, which are the most important ones. And if you want to reduce if you want to delete some of the shadows, again, you can use the eraser tool if you really need to remove the shadow, because right here I like how it looks. I would like to paint a bit more here, but in general I like how it looks on this part, but here it's a bit too strong, so I will get the eraser tool again. I'll use a big brush and use a really low flow and opacity of about 20 or 30, and just with the soft part of the eraser paint here like that, because I wanted to take away some of that shadow, and maybe it removed a bit too much, and paint back right here where the woman touches this part here. Okay, so that's my shadow there. You can see it looks a lot better with the shadow, gives a lot more realism, and now the woman's a lot better integrated on the background. And well, what else? You can add some birds maybe flying around, or I don't know, something here on the ground. I don't know. There's a lot of things that you can add. If you go back to DeviantArt, you can search for again to the stock image folder here and go for objects. Look for the objects menu, and again you have tons of objects here. You can add all sorts of things. I don't know, maybe you can add this right there on the ground, or maybe I don't know what, but and also here you have you can filter this for popularity, so you can search for the most popular items on the last 3 days, for example, and you can see a lot of them are already pre-cut, so you can see PNG file or things like that. You can add this hydrant there on the grass if you want, or I don't know, there are a lot of things that you can find here. It's just a matter of spending some time. Let's try this one. Save image as. Let's save it. I cannot copy this one because this is a transparent file. And if I right click and choose copy, it will copy it with the background. So also I don't recommend you do that. You should not copy the image and save it to your just open it directly in Photoshop, because you will not remember where you got it from, so you will not be able to credit the artist. But if you save it, it will save it with the name. I'll show you that. You will save the name of the author. It says by Pauline Most, I don't know. You can see that, and you can search it on DeviantArt and find it. So let's open that with Photoshop and maybe add it right there. Okay, let's leave it there. It's not too. Maybe it's not the perfect place, but it's not looking nice. And let's create a layer mask for it, because we want to integrate that with we want to blend it with this grass here. And one technique to blend grass, it's really easy. Just get the brush tool, create a layer mask for I cannot create a layer mask. Create a layer mask for the layer and select it. Then get the brush tool, make sure your foreground color is set to black and the opacity and the flow are to 100%. and increase the brush size a bit, and just get this grass brush. Okay, well, let's get this one. And for this particular brush, you have to deactivate color dynamics. If you press F5, you will load this brush window and just deactivate color dynamics, or simply use the foreground color and the background color to black. Sorry. And because that color dynamics, what it does is it mixes the colors and you'll get some nasty effects. And just blend like that, brush it, and you can see it looks like now this is standing there on the grass. Okay, and then if you want to make it more realistic, you can create some shadow. Just create a new layer on top of this one, and get the brush tool, use a soft brush. So I'm going a bit quick here, but it's the same type of shadow that I created for the dress on the other manipulation, because this is standing on the grass and the grass is casting some shadows over this stone here. This gray, oh, it's too strong. It's way too strong. Just a bit of brush of a shadow, sorry, like that, to give it a bit more darkness on the bottom there. Okay, and maybe you can put a bird there standing or something. Let's see if I can find that on my hard drive. Stock photos. You can see I have folders with all the images that I downloaded, and they have the names, so I can easily track that on DeviantArt and give credit. So I'll copy that, place it there. So this is another thing that I would recommend you do. It's a lot. It's very good. Just to save all the photos that you download, all the stock images that you like. You can save them on your folders on your computer, and from there it's a lot easier to search, and it's nice to just combine images and just try things. Okay, we have that bird there. I would make some adjustments to that, and I made it too small, but that's not the point. I just wanted to show how you can add a few details. And once you're done with that, what I usually do once I'm done with the main composition is make some general adjustment just to make everything more uniform in terms of contrast and color. So for example, you can use a gradient map to adjust the colors. Let's try maybe this one and see what blend modes we can do. With vivid light, you get this sort of apocalyptic effect, and maybe decrease the opacity, but it's not looking nice anyway. Let's try soft light to increase a bit. Oh well, let's try screen because it will make the image brighter. Okay, and I'll give this tint to the image, although I don't really like it. So what I will do is change the colors a bit. Instead of using this dark purple, I use this unsaturated blue. And instead of this orange, I'm using this yellow here. These colors look nice together because they're opposite colors. I have a tutorial about gradient maps. I explain how they work, and also about when I talked about adjustments, I talked a bit about colors in RGB mode. These are opposite. Well, these are complementary colors, so they look nice together. So you can try blend modes. I don't know, maybe color dodge is usually very strong, so I use this for light effects. Let's leave it on soft light or maybe let's leave it on screen like it was, like that, and then create a color balance, because here we can change the midtones, the shadows and everything separately, change the balance of color. I'll leave the midtones untouched and go to the shadows and add some cyan and maybe some blue. Preserve luminosity, in this case looks nice. Let's go to highlights and maybe add some yellow. Okay, I'll probably leave it like that. And what else we can do? Let's see, we can maybe use some curves. Notice that I didn't clip this to anything because I want to affect the entire image. And just change a bit the contrast on the image. I made it just a bit brighter. See that? And if you want to change the overall lighting effects, you can create a stamp with Shift, Control, Alt, and E. This is now a bit more advanced. And I created this stamp because I want to work non-destructively. So notice that I have everything on separate layers, so I can edit it separately. And I created this stamp with Shift, Control, Alt, and E, or Shift, Command, Option, and E, and that merges all these layers onto a new layer, so I can delete it if I do something wrong. And now I can go to Select, to Filter, Render, and choose Lighting Effects. And I already have a tutorial about lighting effects. You can search it on my channel. The reason why I do this is because I want to add some shadow on this part and focus the light here, because as I said, my light, I will assume that my light comes from here. So I'll decrease a bit the hotspot. Maybe change a bit the shape of the light, like so. Okay, but now this part is too dark, so I'll probably add another light, in this case a point light. Add it here and decrease the intensity. I will leave the intensity to 0 and just increase the ambience. And now I can increase the exposure. It will affect the image a bit differently, and I can change the color if I want to make to give it a different tone. Usually you don't want to mess with the color too much with the colorize options, because you can ruin your image. Okay, let's leave it like that. Maybe this one, increase a bit intensity and make it a bit more round. So as I said, I only have a tutorial about this, about the controls here, so that's why I will not explain it here. And just click OK, and I'll show you the before and after. So without the light effects and with the light effects. I'll just make it zoom in a bit just so you can see it. Okay. And now you can add more levels if you want to, increase a bit the highlights because it was a bit too. Okay, so that's how you can create the basic manipulation. So just a few layers, a couple of stock images, and the most important parts are shading, the shadows here, and the blends, how you can blend them with with the background, the colors and the contrast and things like that. So I hope all these advices were useful to you. Let's go back to DeviantArt. As I said, the tutorial is done with that. With the tutorial, if you want to shut me up, just close the video. I just want to show you a few things. Here's some examples of bad manipulations. Let's go to digital art and look for photo manipulations and see. I don't know, maybe what's hot. Well, these are the best ones. I don't know if I can find anything that's well, anyways, if you're looking for inspiration, here on this photo manipulations folder, you'll find some really good manipulations, and you'll find a lot of inspiration. I also have a group here if you want to submit your own artworks to my group, and I make features on my website. You can see this is a really cool manipulation. And as I said, usually I make features on my website. So see, this is another really simple manipulation. Maybe it's made with a pre-made stock image. You can see the credits here, the model, so you can get all this and try it for yourself. This was the background that they used. This is actually made by Adrian. He's also writing for my website. He also has stock images, so you can come here to his account and get great stock images from his account and other manipulations. So see, it's really a background and a model, and all the rest is just some details, but these details make the image look different and make it look special. I hope this video was not too long, and if you have any questions, just post a comment, and well, I'll try to solve them if I can. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.